All right, welcome back. The CAF Awards will be in a few days' time, and it is believed that Nigerian attacker Ademola Lookman is in pole position to be named African Player of the Year. That has raised the question of just where he figures in the amount of Africans who do have a chance of winning the prestigious award. If we quickly look at what he has achieved over the last few seasons at Italian club Atalanta, if we can get that statistic up. He did score a hat-trick in the Europa League final last year, and also has played in the past for Everton FC in England at a torrid time there. Also went to RB Leipzig in the German Bundesliga and also had a bit of a torrid time in that one. Charlton Athletic, that was where he learnt his football, and you can see the big smile on his face. He has really improved over the last few seasons, especially with country and, of course, club. He guided Super Eagles of Nigeria to these finals of the AFCON, which they didn't win. They lost to the eventual winners, the hosts, the Ivory Coast. Well, I'm glad to say that I have got former Super Eagles media officer and a man who knows Ademola Lookman very, very well. Toyi Ibitoye joins us on Afrosport now in focus. Great to have you, Toyi.
Thank you, Tolu.
All right.
Always a pleasure to be on the show.
All right. Let's look at it from this angle. It looks like it's been a long time since a player who is dominating as far as the African scene is concerned has really been in serious consideration to pick up the Ballon d'Or. Even when Samuel Eto'o was scoring lots of goals for Barcelona, he wasn't quite the front runner. Mohamed Salah, despite his heroics and record-breaking feats for Liverpool, also really hasn't figured that much. Achraf Hakimi at PSG also has had a stellar campaign ever since he was with them. He was part of the Moroccan team that got to the semi-finals of the FIFA World Cup. For some reason, never also in the consideration. Now there's Ademola Lookman. Maybe doesn't play for a traditional big club in Atalanta, but what do players like Ademola Lookman at the top of their game on the African continent have to do to get international recognition?
Well, the job is a lot easier now for players to win this glamorous award because those two guys that made it their personal property are getting old, and for the first time they didn't even feature at all in the shortlist. Of course, you know those I'm talking about, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. So it makes the competition a lot more open now, and that's why Rodri has emerged a Ballon d'Or winner. So that gives hope to a lot of other players that, look, you don't have to do something out of the ordinary to be the best player in the world. When Messi and Ronaldo were there and in the peak of their powers, it was difficult for any other person to knock them off, no matter what you did. You saw Lewandowski with the number of goals he scored one particular season, didn't come close. Frank Ribery, the year he was red hot, he fell short of it. And you talked about Eto'o, you've talked about Salah, you've talked about Sadio Mane, Hakimi. You know, they wouldn't feature when you have a Ronaldo and you have a Messi. But Rodri has given us a template. All you need to do is to be influential for your club and win titles. If you're not scoring a lot of goals, you can be creating a lot of goals, and you can be making your impact felt on the pitch. But you know what you need to do: win big competitions. You win the Champions League, win your league, score a lot of goals, help your national team to win trophies, and be influential on and off the pitch. You know, also get a good team around you to always put what you are doing in the faces of people, because some of these awards are vote-based. People vote for the eventual winner. So apart from what you do on the pitch, you also have to be able to appeal to those who are doing the voting, coaches and captains of national teams, that that you are a good person, you are a good player, They don't have to be explaining your antics on the pitch. Sometimes when you don't win, you can be defended. That's what I'm trying to say. So I think that's what we need to do. Maintain a high level of consistency.
All right. I was pretty young when George Weah was named best player in the world, but you obviously were more knowledgeable at the time. What did the guys who were responsible for picking the best player in the world, what did they see in a man who obviously did a lot with with the PSG team before then joining AC Milan and winning those titles with AC Milan? He played absolutely zero international football because his country, Liberia, were not involved in international football at the time. What made him stand out that African players now can borrow from?
If you are destined to be something, even if it's hidden under the sea, or it's thrown right down several feet below sea level, somehow it will come to you. That's how I can explain the George Weah story. The rules were changed, and it was just that edition, And after that the rule got changed again, and it became very difficult for somebody to come through that the voting pattern to be African footballer or to be World Footballer of the Year. At that time, there were a lot of arguments about whether you have to be based in a particular place to win, or whether Europe can name you, and Africa. There were a lot of debates around it, and the rules were just changed by FIFA for that particular year. And you saw George Weah winning the African Footballer of the Year, winning the European Footballer of the Year, and then winning the World Footballer of the Year. And it was just based on what he did for his club, AC Milan. He scored a number of amazing, fantastic goals, individual, solo efforts, brilliant goals. And those things just fell for him, and he got crowned the World Footballer of the Year. He was African Footballer of the Year, European Footballer of the Year, Player of the Year in Italy, and then World Footballer of the Year. So it was an amazing story. And if you ask George Weah, I'm sure that template is very difficult to replicate. But what we can take from it is that it was in top shape, it was scoring goals, it was influential on the pitch, off the pitch, for AC Milan, and everything just fell in place for him.
All right. In terms of, as we finish this conversation, in terms of the African players, both young and a little developed now, where do you see that elusive Ballon d'Or heading in terms of an African player? Who do you think has the potential? Maybe not a big star right now, or maybe a big star right now, but where do you think, who do you think is the closest to picking up a Ballon d'Or for the African continent?
Yeah, a lot of African players are doing well. A lot more are coming up. It's a pity that Salah is gradually coming down the hill. But then, he still has a year or two or even three of football at the highest level. So a Salah with his goal ratio for Liverpool, is surely somebody that has a good opportunity to clinch it. Ademola Lookman, of course, for what he's done this year, you hope he gets a big move to a club where he's going to be able to play regularly and then maintain his form, score goals, help the club to win trophies, help the national team to win trophies, qualify for international competitions like the World Cup, and then impact massively in such competitions. Those are the things that will give you those opportunities. There's Diaz, right? The Diaz guy at Real Madrid, the Moroccan, is also coming up. Want to see how consistent he will be in Real Madrid, whether he gets an opportunity to play regularly and score goals. And then, of course, you also look at a few players, from top nations in Ghana, the Kudus of this world, what he's doing at West Ham, if he gets an opportunity to play at a big club, and continue to churn out such individual performances that will put him there with the best in the world. So those are the kind of players that you look out for, and then hope that we are able to also throw up a lot of young players from our 8th grade teams, the under 17s, the under 20s, who will get good football education, good exposure, continue to improve and develop their game. And, you can never say. The Samuel Eto'os of this world that came so close to winning, the Salahs of this world, the Sadio Manes of this world have shown that, look, you have a chance. You can do it. It's not an impossible task, but it calls for a great deal of consistency, and then hoping that they don't suffer injuries that will keep them off the pitch for a long time and help them to make this kind of impact.